This is the Flying J truck stop in Fargo, North Dakota, just off I-29. Today is Saturday, and I just came in about an hour ago. Got some fuel and got some lunch, and I'm still trying this mono diet, so I just had some eggs. I'm saving a whole bunch of money with this diet, you know, because I said I want eggs, no potatoes, no toast. Give me the cheapest option, because sometimes they charge you like $7 for 3 eggs. I said I want 4. How much is it gonna be? Give me a second. She went to talk to the cook or the manager. Comes back, says $4.28. I said, you have a deal. So $4.28. Beautiful. Oh, and I fueled up because this is the last pretty much major stop. Then there's the next Flying J will be 60 miles from here, so I don't think I want to stop there again. But it's only 60 miles, so if I do like roughly 6 miles per gallon, so 10 gallons. But of course my concern is because I'm going to such, you know, northern part of Manitoba. First of all, in Canada fuel is much more expensive than in the States, right? You know, guys. But also the farther north you go, the more expensive it is, right? So in Winnipeg, for example, it's gonna be cheaper than up there in the woods where I'm going. But I just punch in my destination in the GPS, and from here, from Fargo, it's 360 kilometers to the Flying J in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So it's like 3 hours 40 minutes. So what is it? 60. If you, I mean, to try to convert it into miles. Well, less than 4 hours. So I would say 220 miles, something like that. And the next town, I was trying to find the name of the, oh, Grand Forks. Yeah, Grand Forks. And then there's Pembina. I'll be just going north on I-29. Until now I was on I-94, coming out of, you know, from Chicago, Illinois side. And last time I fueled, I was in Rochelle, Illinois, and my tanks were full. And I filled up again now, and that's 909 miles. So that's the most accurate way to measure your fuel consumption. I don't trust this, you know, this scan gauge. It shows 6.7. That's since the last stop, average miles per gallon US. And when I calculated, my tanks took 162.5 gallons US on 909 miles. That's 5.59 miles per gallon. So I think this thing cheats or lies by about 1 mile per gallon, because I do see some very high numbers sometimes, you know, like 9, 10. When I'm empty, last time I was, yeah, when I was driving empty, at one point my average was 10.5. which I think now I know it probably was 9.5 miles per gallon. Can be, you know. And I'm driving with my full power, that button at position 10, because I tried 5, 8, and each time I go back to full power because I noticed that the truck gets better fuel mileage. Alright, so next stop is Winnipeg, Manitoba. Stay tuned. And I didn't get far, you know. I thought I would be in Winnipeg at the Flying J, which would make it 350 miles for one day. Then tomorrow I thought I would do the remaining 500 and then leave 100 miles for Monday. Sorry. But an interesting thing happened, so now I have material for my video. The agent like the dispatcher, right? He said, don't worry about customs, we'll take care of it. And I double checked again once I was loaded, because I did not receive a customs invoice, a very important piece of paper which says how much this load is worth in US funds. All I got was just one sheet bill of lading with some numbers. It didn't even say that this was a Caterpillar, you know, mine truck 777. It just said 777G parts, whatever. Okay, so I double check again once I'm loaded. I email the guy, say, do I have to send anything to the customs broker? The guy says, don't worry about it, I already sent everything. Which is unusual, because most of the time it's drivers that send, you know, all this stuff to the customs broker so that I can cross the border into Canada. And what do you know, I show up at the border, and the phrase you learn to hate is when they say something is not on the system, which is never good, of course. So like this manifest, like it's done electronically, but this is what I show at the border, right? Cover sheet, electronic manifest, and it has this parts number. So I show this at the border, and of course they say it's not in the system. Park your truck, we want to look at your load. And when they say they want to look at the load, that also means that they're gonna look at the truck. So I didn't even see the guy looking at the load. All they did was they searched my truck and grilled me why I backed so close to the building. Like the lady that gave me the instructions, right? Like they give you orders, you gotta follow them, right? The lady says back to dock 1 or 2. Okay, I backed to dock 2 because 1 there was a pickup truck, brand new pickup truck parked right next to the dock. And I have an oversized load, right? I don't think they would be happy if I smashed the mirror off that pickup truck. So I back to available dock number 2, and I bring the trailer as close to the building as possible, so that the guy, I know, you know, when he opens the dock door, he can step on the trailer, because I have an open trailer. You know, next thing I know, I'm taking my papers, like what to take with me, and it's starting to get chilly outside, and I was just driving like this in this tank top t-shirt, so I'm putting this on. All of a sudden someone knocks on my door. What's taking so long? There's a guy standing outside with a gun, you know? Like, you don't joke with those guys, right? What's taking so long? I've been here 10 minutes. You're sitting in the truck, you're doing nothing. Alright, I said, sorry. I was just looking for my paperwork, I put some clothes on. Get out. Okay, I get out, and he says, next thing he says, why did you back all the way to the door, to the building? You're supposed to leave, you know, space. I said, sir, you guys should, you know, decide what you want us to do, right? You give me an order, I follow your order. And then I actually, before I left, I double checked with that lady. I said, you told me to back to dock 1 or 2, is that correct? And she said yes, because she was inside when I was inside. Anyway, just basically don't say anything. Just yes, no, yes sir, no sir. Customs is always right. But anyway, he checks the truck, everything's good, of course, you know. And but I'm inside, and I don't have my custom clearance. And now they say, when they're done with me with the truck, with the inspection, they say, okay, go see a broker. And I walk like 300 meters, you know, like 1,000 feet. There's a building there. It says Livingston. I know that's my broker. I go there, and there's a little notice, of course, that I expected, because I don't see any cars in front of the, like this car in front of another office, but in front of this where it says Livingston, there's no cars, which is not a good sign, because we're in the middle of nowhere. Like there's fields all over, and the US is like back, and Canada is, it's right at the point, right? And there's no telephone reception as always. And I was switching between my Bell and AT&T, and and you have to, you know, just find a spot, lean like this, otherwise you lose your connection. And there's a sign on the door, says hours of operation 8 to 4 on the weekend. So she was open today, but because this was like, what is it now, 5:38, so because of this inspection, I think I was there probably right before 4 o'clock. But because of all the inspection and all this stuff, By the time I went there, I think it was already like 5 o'clock local time. And here we are on Central Time. We are just north of Fargo, south of Winnipeg. That's where the border is, like I-29. Oh, and it says the phone number, call out, available till 11:30. Okay, and then there was another guy, so I figured, you know, what am I? I called Livingston on the phone. I said, so my dispatch said they send you everything, and the guy says no, nothing on the system. And then I just realized that usually when you have brand new machinery, there's a whole bunch of papers that you're supposed to, like, they never clear automatically. You have to stop and go in the office of the customs broker and pick up like a whole package of documents, because it's brand new machinery, you know, right from the plant. But normally they tell you when you have a situation, when you're gonna have a situation like that, they say when you go to the officer, like border patrol officer, just tell them that you have to, it's a manual clearance. Right, so they gave me all this as if it's a regular load, and I suspect that's what happened. That's why it wasn't on the system. So that lady probably has in the office a package for me that I have to pick up, and she'll do her magic, and then I can go clear. But anyway, there's another guy, also Landstar, like a very old truck, and he has tires. It's this other load I was talking about. I was paying the same money, but it's much lighter, just some tires and some skids. And I saw him yesterday in Sauk Center, Minnesota. And I was looking at those tires and I was thinking, this guy's going to the same place. And now he pulls up next to me when I'm sitting inside thinking what to do. I was still at the customs on the, and he says, he comes over and he says, you probably think I'm following you. And he has the same problem, like his customs is not ready, so he's not done, so they send him in, and he says, let me call that number. And my phone was not working, so he called that call out number for the Livingston office, and the lady answers the phone, and she says it's $100 to come out. She says, yeah, I probably have a package for you, that's why you were not able to clear, like pre-clear automatically, so, but it's $100, and I'll come out and send up everything, and you'll be able to cross. And I said, $100? Why do we have to pay this? But she opens again 8 o'clock tomorrow, and then this guy says, what are you gonna do? I said, well, I'll go back to the truck stop on the US side. There's a truck stop, that's where I am right now. And he says, you don't want to go? I said, well, it's only 100 kilometers to Winnipeg. That's actually when I wanted to go, 60 miles. So all I'm losing is 60 miles. So our delivery is only for Monday, so what's the point? So I went back to customs, Canadian customs. I said, you know what, I'll go back to US to the truck stop. Oh, and they said, oh, you can do a bond. You want to do a bond? I asked him, I said, can I do a bond? They said, yeah, sure. I said, how much is it? And they said, well, you're a bonded carrier, it's free. Okay, so we can put this in the bond, but then you can only deliver it to a bonded warehouse, which is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I said, wait a second, no, we're not doing this, because they're waiting for this machine in Split Lake, Manitoba, like 600 miles north of Winnipeg, you know, or 500 miles north. So it's not gonna work. So I said, okay. And the guy says, so what are you gonna do? I said, well, the office opens at 8 o'clock tomorrow. I don't want to pay $100 now. I'll just go back to US and come back in the morning. But that guy stayed there. That guy, you know, he's like, this is the first time this happened to me. I said, how long have you been trucking? He says, 30 years. Something like this never happened to me. I said, and you cross the border all the time? He says, yes. I said, well, I've been doing this since 2005, and it happens all the time. You're stuck somewhere at the border because someone's forgot to supply the customs invoice, you know. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, I don't have a customs invoice, right? So because of this, when I called customer center, like the big Livingston number, they say, oh, send us the paperwork, we'll clear it for you. But I say, I don't have the customs invoice. Okay, then we cannot help you. Alright, cool. Because I thought there for a second that, you know, And that guy stayed there. The guy that something like this never happened to him in 30 years. I can't help but laugh, because when he crossed the border, it always happens, because it's very complicated. Never happened to me, I've been doing this for 30 years. Yeah, right. So he decided, oh, and I said, well, can you call her back, that lady, and ask if we can split the fee? Like, okay, I'll pay 50 bucks, but I'm not gonna pay 100 bucks. If she can take, you know, 100 bucks total, then I'll do it. And so he called her, because his US phone was still on, and she says, no, $100 a piece. I said, screw this, I'm turning around. So I turned around. Like, oh, so I talked to Canadian Customs. They said, yeah, go around the building, go back to US. So I go around, and of course now I have to deal with the US Customs. That's why, you know, you don't want to do this, because it takes, like, you're losing 1 hour of your life, you know. Because first I dealt with Canadian Customs. Now I don't want to sit there, and because I cannot even go to the nearby town. I have to stay in the truck, because I'm not clear to enter Canada, you understand? And there's a restaurant I see, like there's a bar and a restaurant there, right there next to Canadian Customs, but maybe like, you know, 5 minutes away, big sign, it says bar, restaurant, but I cannot go there, because Customs would not allow me, you know, because, well, I'm Canadian, I'm okay, but the load, maybe I could have gone, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I decided to, you know, keep it simple, and I asked him, I'm gonna tell him, told him I'm gonna turn around, so I turn around, and now of course I go to the US side, and she's looking at me, and I said, here's my paper, it wasn't on the system, I cannot cross the border again until tomorrow, you know. Now US has to worry about me, because, you know, they're probably thinking, wait a second, maybe this guy is just trying to sneak into US, you know. Maybe he's Canadian, he wants to sneak into US and stay there and find a job and get married and live a long happy life. And they were wrong, because I'm Canadian, but I want to go back to Canada, but I don't want to sit in the middle of nowhere, where here you have a nice little truck stop with a restaurant, food, you know, coffee, everything. I think they even have showers. And so she asked me why I wasn't able to cross. I said, well, I have to wait till 8 o'clock, because I don't want to pay 100 bucks. I told them. I said, Livingston, Customs worker wants $100 to clear the paperwork, because it's after hours, after 4 o'clock. I said, I don't want to pay it, I'll come back at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And she said, okay. And then I leave US compound, and there's a barrier. And I look at there's a pad, and it says, enter your 4-digit code. And I look at my paperwork, there's no code. I thought maybe I use my trailer number, because she was asking me about my trailer. What's your trailer license plate number? I said, it's on the paperwork. So I don't see anything. And then I look at my passport, and there's a piece of paper inside the passport. You know, she didn't even tell me, right? And it's like pre-printed. There's a 4 digits there, and you enter, hit OK, nothing. And I read the instructions again. It says, right on the keypad, it says, do this. If it doesn't work, press clear and do it again. Like there's a clear button there, like to clear the memory, right? So I do it again. Okay, now it works. Purr, 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 purr. The barrier opens, and I'm at in the United States. So I just basically went 1 mile on I-29, and you see, that's what it is. Here's another guy with an oversized load. No, but this is not a Caterpillar load. And it started raining, you know, and right after Fargo, it became very windy. And my fuel mileage dropped like a rock. You know, until Fargo it was okay, but after Fargo, when I started, oh yeah, because before Fargo, right, I was moving northwest, but then I jumped on 29 and started going north. Very bad weather, and now it's like thunderstorms, you know, and lightning, and so I'm gonna spend the night here. Oh, you see? Did you see that? The machine sits like it's welded to my trailer, by the way. Nothing moved, only once, what is it, 4 days, I had to tighten one chain. One chain was like kind of like a little bit loose on the front. Everything else is solid. So I did a very good job with securing this thing. So that's my little adventure for today. I thought I would be in Winnipeg, but no, they didn't let me go. Because I guess I didn't want to pay the money. And that's when, you know, like I always, you know, laugh when they say that trucking is a 24/7 industry, right? What they mean by that is that it's a 24/7 industry for truckers. Because, okay, customs works 24/7, you know, but customs brokers rarely work 24/7, you know. Well, in some big towns, right? But here's a small crossing. You see, she closes shop at 4 o'clock, and she wants $100 to come back in the office, which is BS. Why should the driver pay this money, you know? And dispatch, I tried calling the office. The guy who gave me this load, of course, like I sent him an email, said I'm stuck at the border. No, there's nobody there because today's Saturday, right? So I'm working and the customs is working. That's it. Well, at least tomorrow at 8 o'clock the customs broker will start working. Anyway, that was a quick update. Now, of course, the most interesting part will be navigating those 2-lane roads in Manitoba, because yeah, it's 500 miles, not 600. It's 500 miles north of Winnipeg, and I think it's all 2-lane highways. It's gonna be really interesting tomorrow and Monday. So thanks for watching.